Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone to Automating Digital Workflows, a fireside chat with HP, Dyndrite, and SLM Solutions. I'm Krista Mulheron, and I'll be moderating this event today. We have a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. I'd like to start by introducing the speakers. First off, we have Ryan Palmer, the Global Head of Software and Data at HP 3D Printing and Digital Manufacturing, Harshil Goel, the CEO at Dyndrite, and Jill Christner, President and General Manager of the Americas at SLM Solutions. Welcome, everyone. Well, I'm sure most of you are familiar with these companies. Let's do a brief introduction on what Dyndrite, HP, and SLM are all about, specifically what each brings to the table as it pertains to automating the digital workflow and what that means for the future of AM. Harshil, do you want to go ahead and start off?
So Dyndrite provides a modern GPU-based accelerated geometry engine that's meant to deliver a new level of performance, scalability, and integration across the industry as a whole. Right? And the idea here is to provide a core and key geometric and computing backbone to help this industry scale as the machines scale and as the build processes scale. Think of us as very similar to kind of PostScript in the 1980s, enabling the desktop printing revolution.
Yeah, from the HP side, I think Harshil keyed on scale as a key reason. HP feels the same way. So entering the additive market with a 3D technology in MJF was just the first step where we really see the opportunity to grow scale. It involves investment in understanding the applications and the digital workflow that enables those applications. So HP believes that there's a real opportunity to improve the way that additive applications are brought to scale. First brought to a valid solution point, and then grown to reach the scale that a company the size of HP really demands out of the industries that it invests in. And that might be not just in traditional verticals such as automotive and aerospace, but also unlocking kind of the promise of the digital and digital manufacturing. So customization, personalization, high mix, high volume production. These are all areas that HP is really interested in adding more value through software and workflow solutions.
Yeah, for SLM Solutions, we're a OEM of the metal additives. So we bring additive solutions to our customers with machines, powders, and services. A key pillar of ours is productivity, which aligns to what we're here to talk about today.
Well, I think one of the key questions that everyone's asking themselves here is why a panel with HP, Dyndrite, and SLM? What are the key messages that you wanted to share here today?
To touch on the idea of scale and of impact in this manufacturing industry, HP is really focusing on a couple of capabilities that are absolutely necessary. The first is universal solutions. We have to be able to support customers that are growing and adopting additive at the level that the industry is trending towards. So common workflows across all of their additive processes are going to be absolutely necessary. The current way that the industry is structured has pain points for customers as they really want to provide solutions for their customers across different manufacturing processes. Additionally, we think that traditional manufacturing paradigms of low mix manufacturing, batch level processing, don't take advantage of the massive capabilities that additive manufacturing has for personalization and customization of parts. So when we look at why HP, Dyndrite, and SLM, these underlying technologies that Dyndrite brings to the table, and SLM as a partner in another powerful manufacturing process, this is really the group of people that I think will be driving this industry forward, because we see the industry in a common way, and we see the challenges that we need to face as something that is a better together story, as opposed to trying to see where we can go at it alone.
From the perspective of Dyndrite, our goal is enablement, not just from a technology perspective, but from a connection perspective. So earlier last year, we formed the Dyndrite Developer Council, which has now grown to 23 OEMs and ISVs. Of course, HP was the first inaugural member of this council, and SLM sits on it as well and has been continually providing feedback across a variety of areas. The key goal of this council is to enable opportunities and build those connections. And clearly it's working to some degree because we're all in a room together at the moment. right? So I'd say from Dyndrite's perspective, it's about trying to engender these communications, help folks build solutions that are compatible with each other while helping them protect their IP.
I think for if we look at what the demands of the market are, we continue to see the need for more productivity, reduced cost per part, and then wanting the choice of the toolpath to truly unlock the potentials of AM. And so to provide that productivity as we grow and build plates, grow in the speed of the printers, and then pulling this alongside of it to enable our customers to maximize their productivity.
So I think one of the other common threads between these panels here is related to HP's announcement last week regarding significant advancements in the management and automation of complex 3D printing workflows and large-scale additive manufacturing fleets. As part of this, HP unveiled a new software solution, the HP Universal Build Manager, or UBM, which is powered by Dyndrite. This brings increased productivity and efficiency, as well as automation to additive build management. Brian, could you go into a bit more detail behind the thought process of this launch?
Yeah, absolutely, Kristen. So, as everybody's aware, HP entered this market first with a 3D printing technology and a focus on building printers to serve customer segments. As we've been in this industry for a while now, we recognize that there's many challenges that inhibit scale and limit what our customers can do across their manufacturing processes that you can't solve from within a printer. And so software and data investments inside HP have really led to the creation of this product, where we recognize a few really powerful paradigms in the industry. One, the companies that are really attempting to scale and can credibly scale their additive businesses are pushing the boundaries of complexity of the types of parts that customers will really take advantage of. And they're also pushing these boundaries across a number of additive processes at the same time. And to get that promise of productivity and efficiency out of their investments, they need a single solution that not only allows them to streamline workflow across all their processes, but also gives them the promise of automation, so they can take advantage of their really intelligent folks they have working for them to solve new problems every day. So the HP Build Manager leverages a lot of the underlying goodies inside the Dyndrite kernel and exposes that to customers in a way that we think hasn't been done before. We think really helps move the industry forward, and is a good next step to take advantage of the promise that this industry has. Harshil, you want to add anything else?
Yeah. I think it probably makes sense to define what scale really means, right? Scale is the size of the build plate. It's the complexity of the builds in general. It's the number of parameters you can control about the machine, whether it be chemical values or aspects of many lasers, right? And it's being able to deliver to a customer in a way so that the time it takes to slice something is not the same amount of time it takes to actually print it. Right. And so that's what scale means. And that's what the outcome or ramification of this type of technology is, as this industry is truly taking a step change forward to go from what I would honestly still consider prototyping to a full-on production grade solution.
Okay, so we've got the thought process leading to it, but what actually is the UBM? Ryan, could you give us a brief introduction into its capabilities?
So the Universal Build Manager is a standalone software offering from HP that really addresses the challenges in the industry of going from a design to a physical product based on that design, and doing so in a scalable and universal way. So as we think about the product itself, the way we like to describe its value propositions or features are around 4 pillars. The first one is universality. If we aren't providing a common place for all of the additive process development and workflows around build preparation to be taking place, then we're really not delivering on a promise of productivity or scalability in this product. The second being CAD neutrality. So we recognize that across all of our customers, they're going to have many different preferred file formats and workflows that have happened before build preparation is even part of the workflow. So being able to support the customer's environment as well as we can is also critically important. Complexity is another pillar that we address with the accelerated kernel of Dyndrite as a foundation for the solution. We're able to get next level support when it comes to addressing the fact that parts are getting more complex, machines are able to handle more parts, and so therefore the data that you need to crunch is just growing exponentially. We think that foundation is a very forward-looking approach that will only get stronger as parts continue to increase in complexity. And then last but not least is automation, being able to not just achieve your outcomes through mouse clicks and engagement with the software in that way, but being able to encode the right decisions around how do you nest parts, how do you orient parts. Anything you can do in the software, you can subsequently automate so that the talent within a customer's facility can be solving hard problems one day and solving different hard problems the next day, as opposed to solving the same problems day in and day out. We think that all these together really provide a good foundation for this product to drive the type of productivity and scale that we've been talking about in this forum. Harshil, anything to add?
No, I think you summarized it. I think the kind of trump card here is indeed those 4 pillars, but how the first 3 pillars lead into the last one, right? Without the universality, without the CAD neutrality, and without the speed and acceleration, the automation's kind of sort of falls flat on its face, right? You need all of these things kind of working in harmony together across OEMs and processes and softwares for this to actually deliver on that promise. So I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Just to add on to that, Harshil, then as we kind of look at what we're looking at, growing, making faster parts from the hardware side of it, and then being able to tap in to having the feedback that you guys are getting from the teams, from the development council that SLM's a part of there, and then scaling that potential for the customers.
And to expand on that, I hear HP Universal Build Manager is being supported by several AM machine manufacturers, including Aconity, AN3D, HP, Open Additive, Plural AM, Renishaw, and SLM, among others. Jill, what's your opinion on all of this?
So Kristen, from our vantage point, kind of looking at, as the products that we're expanding upon, bigger build plates, bigger build volumes, more parts per plate, or just a bigger part. And if you look at, okay, now what's the prep that has to go in there? Like, what is the automation? What can I see before I go in and be able to maximize productivity across the whole value stream of additive? And really then, being able to tap into the machine without giving away IP, but yet developing expertise with our customers to take everyone to the next level, pushing the industry to the next level.
Okay, so we've talked about the machine manufacturers. How about end use applications? Are there any end users that have already been working with the Universal Build Manager?
So Kristen, I'll take that one. And to touch on Jill's point earlier, this idea that the UBM is a product, but it's not really complete until the expertise of either the end user or the OEM complements it is a very important part. So SLM has an open architecture, and they're very forward thinking in how their customers can take advantage of their solutions. We want to empower their customers to be able to as they grow in their expertise of how to take advantage of their SLM investment, to be able to have a place to encode that, so that it's not only locked up inside the minds of the people that they have working with those products day in and day out. And then as we talk about customers that use the solution today, what comes to mind is a couple of companies, Cobra Aero and Cobra Moto. They specialize in high complexity designs around propulsion systems for racing and aerospace and underwater vehicles, among other things. So they're a really innovative company that gets a competitive advantage by getting the most out of their additive investment. So they use the Universal Build Manager to streamline and combine their workflows across both HP, MJF, and Renishaw additive solutions. And so they're developing IP as well that they can encode through the Python scripting and automation. And it's really being a place where both OEMs can advance, the workflows around their machines in a low cost, low touch way, and grow the efficacy of their machines for their customers, as well as those customers that are really pushing the boundaries to take advantage of that with the software. And that's really this better together story that I think we're talking about here.
To add to what Ryan was saying, so of course Dyndrite licenses technology and is trying to sell technology to all the machine vendors and the software providers in the space. But I think the key one here is how we are trying to elevate the industry from the end user standpoint, right? There are a number of end users that we've been working with for actually many years, I can't name them, who are in the automotive and aerospace, domains, who are major SLM production users. And our place here was to figure out a way to enable them to make key bespoke solutions for their processes, their workflows, and their parts. And so I think the beauty of this here is that we're all in a room and we can actually support each other in our endeavors, because everyone in the room here is trying to help that customer hit that next level, help them actually go from tens of parts to hundreds of parts to maybe thousands of failed rocket parts to thousands of high production grade quality rocket parts or automotive parts that do serve that need in a production capacity.
Harshil, I think that's really the exciting part of it, right? Is you take all the pieces together and it really moves the industry. It's a step change in the industry, right? Instead of just a little bit, like it's a different ballgame that we're talking about now with the recent, releases of different products that we see in the market, and then the customers, again, every day pushing the limits of what the technology is capable of today. So it's exciting to expand the ecosystem of our software systems.
So with the few remaining minutes that we have left, could each of you touch upon why you think this is a game-changing product?
Sounds good, Kristen. So this is absolutely the definition of a game-changing product, because when you consider the potential for additive to disrupt, nearly every product that we use and consume as humans versus the actual disruption that's taken place so far, you see that we have a long way to go. And I think the features of this product are one of the key pieces that will enable every product developer in across industries to be thinking about additive first. When you look at unlocking the potential, really taking advantage of the complexity, the customization and personalization aspects of the technology across multiple processes, you can build better products. And so I think it's that promise of building a better product that will start in a few key industries and then quickly catch on across segments. And so I think, by recognizing that the features in this product and by coming together across company boundaries like we're doing today, that really is the way that we need to work going forward. And when we get those solutions in the hands of customers to the point where they start thinking about how to develop products differently, that will be fulfilling on that promise of a game-changing product, so to speak.
So just a few closing thoughts then from my end as we look at this and focus on the customer here and what's important to the customer and where do they spend their money, either on OpEx or CapEx, and what values do they get out of it? They're going after their productivity. There's a lot here that has to offer, in the game changers, whether it be in the form of a machine or in the form of software. And as we continue to see the hardware make progress with the bigger parts, we want the flexibility within the parts, within the software, within the automation. This brings that to the table and enables the further progression of our industry.
I believe this is game-changing because it takes the table and just kind of flips it on its head. It flips the power dynamic from an IP standpoint, where traditionally someone would have to give up their IP to go develop software solutions. And now, whether it's an OEM like SLM or an ISV, they are now empowered to go help their customers directly, right, without having to give up anything. The second aspect of this, which I think makes this game-changing or different, is it recognizes a major demographic shift that's happening in the engineering ecosphere. The modern mechanical and design engineer graduates with basic knowledge about Python and programming. And this is the type of product that engenders them and allows them to use that new knowledge to go help and automate their workflows. I think the final part of this that makes this truly game-changing is, as Jill mentioned earlier, the build plates are getting bigger, the build complexity is increasing, the number of machines and the number of things that you can even control in the machine is also increasing. And in order to go, deal with that in an efficient way, you need something that can truly help you scale from a computation standpoint, right? And I think it's all of these three things that are kind of coming together to make what I think is going to be a major wave of change in the industry over the next year or two.
So I think one thing that's really exciting about all of this is the universality of this solution within additive manufacturing across industries and platforms. It's always exciting to see this kind of collaboration across all kinds of technologies and companies within the AM space. Hopefully this is just the beginning of more to come. To those who are watching, if you'd like to connect one-on-one with any of the speakers, please check out the Formnext Connect matchmaking platform for more details on how to make that possible. And thank you to both panelists and the attendees for joining us at Formnext Connect this year. I hopefully look forward to seeing you all in person in 2021. Thanks.
Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thank you.